Welcome to Your Money in Business. We begin this week with an effort to help the 20% of Marylanders who use check cashing businesses and payday lenders in place of regular banks. Joining us are Kylie Delgado, a BankOn Maryland Fellow at the Cash Campaign, and Sue Rogan, Director of Strategic Partnerships for the Cash Campaign, which is a nonprofit, and the acronym, correct me if I'm wrong, Creating Assets, Savings, and Hope.
You got it.
Very good. Glad you're both here.
Thank you.
Let's explain what the problem is. Most of our viewers, I'm sure, have a bank account. For the people who don't, what are the barriers?
So for people who don't have a bank account, there are several barriers. Statistics from the Federal Deposit Insurance Corporation, FDIC, the Federal Reserve, and Prosperity Now show that half of the people who are unbanked throughout the United States are unbanked because they believe they don't have enough money to put into a financial institution, and so they choose alternatives such as check cashing, payday loans, etc. In addition, another 30% of those individuals don't trust financial institutions, typically because of their background. We're looking primarily in that scenario at immigrants who come from places where banks and the government working together don't usually result in positive things. And so that is what we're trying to change. We're trying to inform them, help them understand that the U.S. banking system has options for them, and help them save over $40,000 in their lifetime from not using alternative services.
Explain that number. What's the impact of having to get your paycheck cashed outside the normal financial system?
So when you have to get your paycheck cashed outside of the normal system, you're usually looking at additional fees that the check cashers can charge. Also, some individuals realize that they need their funds before their payday, and then they go to payday loan companies. And those companies will end up taking a large percentage of that check in addition to providing them the funds that they need. And really what happens is these individuals fall behind. They end up paying fees and paying more fees and paying more fees. And then it becomes very difficult to get positive, or in the black, as we would say. So what we would like them to understand, and the point of BankOn, is that there is the option to have banking access using traditional banks and credit unions, that they can have bank accounts that don't have overdraft fees, that don't have non-sufficient fund fees, that have low monthly maintenance rates of $5 a month or less, and that can help them make deposits, pay their bills on time, and allow them to keep the money that they've worked so hard for in their own pockets.
Sue, tell me, please go ahead.
So just to follow up on this, if you look at the math, sometimes check cashing companies charge 10% of the check that they're cashing. So if a worker makes $700 in a week, there's $70. So if you have an account, as Kylie was saying, that doesn't charge anything because they actually do direct deposit, that's $70 a week that that person has in their pocket to do something else with.
Is it a separate issue, though, the check cashing aspect and the payday lending aspect? Payday lending, it's you need the cash now, and you can't wait for next week's paycheck.
Right.
A regular bank isn't going to be able to help too much with that.
So it's interesting that because there is a need, right, there's a consumer need, and businesses often try to meet those consumer needs. There are some financial institutions and some other lenders that are trying to meet that need in a less expensive way, because they know that consumers need that. There's some new programs that are actually paying the employee the day they work. So they have an app on their phone that says, I was at work today for 8 hours. They actually get that money today. And then when the paycheck comes, of course, that money is going to come out because they've already gotten, paid for it and stuff. So there's different services and programs that are coming about, but they are two separate issues, the payday loans and the check cashing. Sometimes
do those payment systems go straight to a card, a debit card, instead of a bank account? And how do you feel about that? You go to a checkout counter at the Walmart or wherever, and you see racks. I mean, this stuff didn't used to be there 10 years ago, of different flavors of debit cards that I think people can use as a bank account in some ways for payments coming in and out.
There are a lot of different companies now in the financial services industry. I think you're correct. Walmart is one of them. If you go into the store to return something, you're going to wait in a long line because everybody's there getting kind of financial services products from them. And I think the biggest thing to think about is what are we paying for those and what are the security and safety of these other products? You know, we know that the FDIC and the different banks and credit unions are insured. You know, they have all the coverage from the federal government. So what amount of money is coming out of my pocket to transact my bills or pay for things using these other products, and how safe are they are really things we need to think about.
The other challenge is that individuals, as you said, will see all these cards, but all these cards have different terms, have different fees, have different policies. And so people can get conflicted trying to figure out how to manage that. And I think one of the benefits of having an account at a financial institution is that those things can be explained to you. You have resource, you have recourse. If you have questions, you can talk to someone at the branch or on the phone to help you figure it out and make the best decision for you.
So let's talk about how you're helping people. You're both with the Cash campaign. We'll explain what that is, and also the BankOn program. What do you do?
So for CASH, as you said, it's an acronym, Creating Asset Savings and Hope. I think hope is my favorite part of our name because sometimes people lose hope around their finances. So we work with partners across the state to provide programs and services that promote the economic advancement of individuals and families in Baltimore City and across Maryland. So one of those programs, for example, is free tax preparation. It's called the VITA program, which stands for Volunteer Income Tax Assistance. For families who earn under $55,000 a year at one of our partners, they can have their taxes done for free. And so not only is it having their taxes done accurately and promptly right there, but it's also connecting them to other services and programs. Some of our partners help them pull their credit report while they're there. Some of them open up a bank account or something. So they're providing different structures, like while you're getting the refund, let's talk about what this would mean for you and your family to create savings.
And it's tens of thousands of people that you're in a position to help that way.
Yes, it is. And we also offer financial education through our website, www.mdcashacademy.org. And the website is meant to be, a majority of us have never had one class that taught us everything we need to know about handling money.
They skip it in high school for some reason.
They have some standards, but there isn't, as you know, a standalone class to teach us everything. So we're providing these classes. We screen the educators and the curriculum to make sure that people have access to accurate, credible, non-judgmental way to learn around finances. And then we often offer financial coaching as well, so people can work one-on-one with a coach. And we're so thrilled and excited to bring the BankOn program as another tool to our partners and people across the state to help them really increase their financial health.
And Kylie, you're the BankOn Fellow with a background in financial services. What do you expect to be doing?
So right now I'm doing a lot of research, looking at the data and really drilling down and understanding how does it affect Maryland. We have a lot of national statistics. What does our state look like? And then even within our state, the different geographies, the different demographics of our population. Also meeting with our coalition members because BankOn Maryland is really going to be about working with our city officials, local government, other nonprofits, financial institutions all across the state. And so building those relationships with individuals and working towards a common cause of making sure that Marylanders all have access to affordable banking products.
This exists now in Gaithersburg, right?
Yes, it
BankOn
does.
has been active. What has happened there?
So in BankOn Gaithersburg, they've been around now for 10 years. They actually celebrated their 10th anniversary and had a wonderful celebration earlier this year. And they have been working to make sure that there's a lot of financial education and a lot of relationship building, especially throughout the county of Montgomery, or Montgomery County, to make sure that people understand how to manage their finances, what their budgeting options are, how to build access to credit. And so they've been doing a really good job there. We look to expand that, and so one of the things BankOn is now involved in is what we call program integration. So we not just talk about how people can make better choices with their money, we help them figure out the programs, that they are relevant to them, like workforce development or youth that are exiting out of the foster care system. These are individuals that need bank accounts, and have in often cases never really been exposed to that. We help educate them, but then help them figure out how those accounts can be established so that they have direct deposit, they can pay their bills, and they understand the business of banking in a positive way.
How about fees? I mean, banks charge fees too, especially if somebody, doesn't have the resources to have thousands and tens of thousands of dollars sitting in the bank. How do you help people not get taken advantage of or have too much of an impact from those fees?
So that's the great thing about BankOn. We have something called the National Account Standards. And the National Account Standards gives us a set of criteria and features that the accounts that banks share with us that they would like to be certified must meet. Those three of the most important of those features are: one, no overdraft or non-sufficient funds, because we want people to understand when the money's out that they can stop. They don't have to have fees or worry about fees being accrued later on. We also make sure that the monthly maintenance dues are $5 or less per month. And we also make sure that these accounts can allow them to pay their bills using the debit feature. So those are three of the important characteristics, and these accounts are certified. We have the National Consumer Law Center that goes over accounts once banks submit their application process, or credit unions, and then they're certified for 2 years. And that gives us the means for which to help people find accounts at institutions that don't have fees they don't quite understand.
Very good. Great information. We have to leave it there. Sue Rogan, Kylie Delgado of BankOn and the Cash Campaign, thanks for your time.
Thank you, Jeff.